Hey guys, what's up? What's good? And I hope everybody is doing well. I hope everybody's getting geared up for the summer, and I hope you all have great, amazing vacations planned. And if you are going somewhere that's beachy, sunny, watery, maybe this is a watch that you could consider. Before I get too deep into it, again, my usual apology for not making more content more frequently. Man, life gets in the way. Work is crazy, but feel thankful I'm able to bring you all this video of a watch I've had actually for quite a while, and one that I've wanted for a long time. It is a Citizen, and this is their Promaster Dive Automatic. So this is kind of like, I don't know, kind of like a flagship dive watch from Citizen. I made some other videos about some ProMaster watches. They have a really iconic line called the Aqualand, so please check out those videos. But if there's a flagship model for Citizen's ProMaster line for their dive watches, it's kind of this. So this is the Dive Automatic, and the code is NB6004. And this one specifically is the 83E, which I think designates that this is on the bracelet. Look at the watch. I mean, it just looks the part. I mean, it's very geometric, very solid, but also very light. This is a titanium watch, and in fact, the Citizen's Duratech titanium or super titanium. And so this is like a coated titanium. I believe it's coated in a titanium carbide. So it's more resistant to scratches and wear, but of course watches get scratched regardless. And you can see the clasp, which is also coated titanium. It's got some little nicks and cuts as I've worn it, but overall it's remarkably light, as you would expect from a solid titanium watch. You can see that the bracelet is really nicely done, solid end links. This thing is big though. It's a large watch. It's 46 millimeters in diameter, but it kind of wears smaller than that, because if you look at this, you can see it's very like rounded on top, kind of like a, I don't know, kind of like a pebble shape almost. And you can see the interesting lugs and how this really tall, thick, very easy to turn bezel, how it fits in. Lug width is 24 millimeters, so it's got a nice thick lug, and so you can very easily put these on leather or of course rubber straps. They even offer this watch with rubber straps. So the action on the bezel, really good, like really good. You know, it's solid, but it's got a kind of like a deadened feel to it, so it's easy to turn, but it doesn't make like this loud, like clicking, ratcheting sound. And then you can see it's got a loomed pip right at the 12. I was really excited to get this watch, and generally I like it. But it does have some, I don't know, fairly significant problems with it that I think you should be aware of before you kind of go all into it. Look at the dial. You see this kind of like this textured pattern. Almost kind of looks like something that Audemars Piguet would do, doesn't it? Like that Cluda Perry pattern, or the tapisserie pattern rather. And you can see that is kind of continued on the dial, and the dial has like this gradient finish. So in the middle of the dial, you can see it's lighter, and then it gets darker. Big, easy to read, iconic, classic Citizen markers, and you can see how the hands are just perfect. The watch has great lume all over. Not as good as Seiko lume, of course, but it's good Citizen lume. Got a sapphire crystal, and you can see look at that right there. You can see the dome of that crystal. So, you know, the watch certainly looks the part, and it's got a lot of technical features that are really cool. It's titanium, you know, and that's a premium when it comes to Japanese watches. It's got a really nice bezel action. Look how thick it is. Look how purpose-driven it is. But you know, it looks the part, but the actual statistics, characteristics of the watch kind of let it down a little bit, you know. So I'm looking at a watch like this, and I'm thinking to myself, man, if I see this on somebody's wrist and I didn't exactly know what it was, I'd be like, man, that is an amazing dive watch. Look at the thickness of this watch. Look at the width of this watch, man. That's got to be That's got to be, I don't know, 1,000-meter diver, maybe, you know, and look how cool the package is and look how thick and purposeful it's made. It's only a 200-meter diver, though. And not like I'm diving down to 200 meters or anything, but you look at the watch and you expect it to be kind of like one of these bomb-proof builds. You know what I mean? I did a review of a watch that is truly bomb-proof, truly awe-inspiring. That H2O Kalmar, please check that out. This watch is not a lot smaller than that. I mean, of course, it's not as thick as that watch, but I mean, for something that looks like this tactical, this tool-built, this purpose-driven, and for it to only have 200 meters water resistance, that to me is the first letdown. Another letdown of this watch, unfortunately, is that the legibility is not very good. Certainly the hands are highly legible. So you can see that the seconds hand is, you know, it's got a nice orange pip to it. And of course the minutes hand, the most important hand for diving, is orange and large. So I don't mind that. The dial is decent size. It's small, of course, because the rest of the case is so big. I wonder why it's so small, though. At 200 meters, I mean, you don't need to have this kind of case dimension to get that sort of depth rating. But regardless, you know, and then look at the depth of the dial inside the watch. I mean, like I said, it just really underscores the fact that you expect a little bit more out of it. The other problem where legibility is a major concern is this really cool bezel that is completely useless in actual real world terms. I couldn't imagine being underwater and actually relying on trying to figure out these numbers on this beautiful bezel, but you can see that there's so many textures on the bezel. There's so much different like finishing on the bezel, and then the numbers are dark, the textures are dark. Very nice, very tactile, but ultimately useless. The crown is nice. You know, it's a nice, easy to grip crown. Of course, it's not big enough to be able to grip with gloved hands, but like I said, I give them a pass on that. It screws down well. You can see that the post is very nice and thick. Nice, easy winding. It's got stop seconds, quick set date, so it has kind of all those basic things. The movement, of course, is nothing special. It's a Miyota. You know, it's got like, you know, -10, +20 accuracy. So I'm not expecting a lot, but man, for your flagship watch, you know, I mean, it would be nice to have a little bit more. You know, this watch is not cheap, not by any stretch of the imagination. You know, the MSRP on the bracelet version is like $1,200. It's frequently discounted even on the Citizen site for around $1,000. It can be had for around $700, $650, $750, something like that. Let me try it on the wrist and we'll talk a little bit more about it. Okay, give me a second. Cool, we're back, man. Check it out. The Citizen Dive Automatic, the top of the line Citizen dive watch. Before I put it on my wrist, let me show you the clasp. Actually, it's massive. I mean, it's huge. I mean, the length of the clasp is massive. The width of the clasp is massive. And the reason it's so large is because they have integrated an adjustment mechanism into the clasp where you can do some quick changing of the clasp. And so you see, it's a standard kind of like Citizen. You know, so it's got a fold over and it's got a twin trigger, but here you see two additional buttons, and so you kind of squeeze these and so you can see how the clasp adjusts. So like that, it's not easy to do, but it does. And so it doesn't open any larger, but it can close down a little bit. So it's a nice feature. It's a nice feature, kind of clunky. I mean, it's not as elegantly designed as a you know, as like a Rolex or like an Omega or anything like that, but it's very functional. I also forgot to mention that the bracelet is very nice, solid titanium, so it's very light as well. Screw down case back, but this is a pin system, which I don't mind. I think it's very on brand, and I don't give the watch any negative marks for having a pin system. That's kind of standard Seiko and Citizen Japanese watch stuff. Let's try this thing on and see. I mean, just, it's massive, man. It's not heavy. It's not heavy, but it's huge, and I mean, this is like a Rolex Deep Sea in size, and there you see it on the wrist. So you can see, even though it's a 46mm watch, the way it's made, the lug distance is very short, and it's got this domed sort of shape to it. And so with the titanium, with that shape, it kind of is very easy to wear. And I like wearing it. I mean, I think it's a cool watch. I mean, I like to wear it. It gets several stares whenever I wear it. It's got kind of like a cool color look. You know, the titanium is gray, the dial is gray, but it has that gradient or fume finish to it. And then the bezel, while useless functionally, it does give the watch a lot of style and sort of like a lot of wrist appeal, so to speak. The crown doesn't really gouge into the wrist, and there's plenty of adjustment. You know, there's plenty of extra links and stuff. So like I was saying, that the MSRP on this thing is $1,200. I mean, I don't know, it's kind of a lot of money. It's kind of a lot of money for a Miyota movement, which is throwaway for all intents and purposes. It's adequate, it's nothing more than that. It's a lot of money for a watch that if you're looking for a tool watch, a diver watch, it's a very crowded field to play in. Look, I mean, at $1,200, you are in a very crowded neighborhood. I'm not talking about German brands. I'm not talking about Swiss brands. That's a hard comparison for this watch. I'm talking about Seikos. I'm talking about watches like the newer Seiko divers, you know, so the Seiko Sumo divers, for example, or you know, there's all kinds of like titanium options for Seiko now. I'm blanking on the name of this new diver watch that Seiko came out, but it comes with a white dial, black dial. 200 meters water resistance. That's kind of like standard Japanese water resistant, I guess, for their kind of entry-level watches. But, you know, there's a lot of competition right there. You know, of course, Tag Heuer is making great watches. You know, brands like H2O have great watches that are out there too. So I like the watch. I like the watch. I think what helps this watch a lot is the fact that it's not a Seiko. It's something different, but it's Japanese. It's a Citizen, but it's not like one of their Eco Drive watches. It is an automatic, so it clicks off a lot of buttons, or it checks off a lot of boxes rather, whenever it comes to, hey, this is something interesting, it's something unique, it's not something you're gonna see like every day. But it does let me down in a few ways. I'm not paying $1,200 for this. I'm just not. There's just not enough value in the watch at that price. But I don't know, at $1,000, it's still iffy. But at $900, $800, $700, okay, now I'm interested. At $700 full set, I think it's a lot of watch for the money. I think it gives you a lot of style. It's got plenty of technically interesting things that watch fans like. And again, it's something different. It's not a Seiko, it's a Citizen. It's not steel, it's titanium. It's not a quartz watch, it's not an Eco Drive, it's an automatic movement. So I think the watch is, in many ways, more than the sum of its parts, because when you look at the parts individually, they're kind of a letdown, but altogether the package is actually pretty nice. Guys, I hope you like a quick look at this watch from Citizen. This is their Halo watch. This is the Dive Automatic. It's a lot of watch for the money. It's $700, it's $650. It's a lot of watch for the money. It's just that I expect more at a $1,200 MSRP. I get a lot out of it, you know, at $700, $800, $900, but at $1,200, I would wait for a better deal. I'm sorry to ramble about that, though. I really like the watch. I've owned it for, I don't know, like about a year or so, and I thought you guys would like to look at it. It's a cool watch. It's a nice watch, and it's one that I think I'm going to have in my collection for a while longer. Guys, take care. God bless. Love y'all. Hope you guys are healthy. Hope you guys have big plans for the summer. And remember, treat others with love and respect, and if you can't, just pretend. Take care. Bye.